Hey, CJ.
Oh man, we in here.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Hey,
How you been, man? How you been?
I've been good, man. Staying creative, staying focused. I'm always a student, so of course I'm in school.
That's good to know. That's good to know.
Gotta keep going.
Well, first of all, congratulations on your new show. And
I'll be trying.
you do know this is a milestone. This is your 5th episode, right?
Yes,
Yeah. So I wanted
I'm
to
really
make sure.
doing it.
Yeah, you are, right? So I wanted to make sure that I give you a good show, and I hope, everybody likes what we have to give out.
Yes, and I am excited. I've been excited for this one. I'm like, man, my teacher want to get on my show.
No. I had to figure out. I was like, wait a minute, how many credits do I need to really get on your show? Like you got these high profile guests on there. I'm like, I guess I'm not carrying my weight. So it was good. I appreciate it. We're gonna have a lot of fun.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Of course, and that's what I say to every guest. Thank you for saying yes, because
Absolutely.
Everybody out here in their own schedules, in their own world, trying to get their lives together. So to make time to come onto my show means everything.
When I found out that you was doing this platform, I was like, wow, that's a new venture that sometimes could get tricky if you don't know what you're doing. You handle it like a champ. So I look for bigger and better things. I'm just hoping that I can, be part of that in some form or fashion.
I appreciate it. Hey, man, I'm just ready. I'm always ready.
Ooh.
I'm always ready because I'm never ready.
I was looking at your other episodes, and your guest was talking about the impact of COVID. How has it impacted you as far as how you had to kind of diversify and, figure out new strategies to get your business going?
Man, you know what? For me, like I've mentioned on my other episodes, it's been more than just COVID. Like I've been sitting for the past over a year now because I got pregnant and had a rough pregnancy. So I couldn't do much. I just wasn't well enough. So I spent my whole pregnancy basically in bed. And then, having my baby, I had a C-section. So, you have to take your time. You have to recover from that. Mm-hmm. And then as soon as I'm kind of coming out of my healing stage of that, COVID. So now we all sitting down. So it's been a doozy for me. Okay. Everyone is like, COVID is crazy. I'm like, yeah, try sitting down for the year before COVID.
Right.
Now I gotta still sit down. I can't even get up and go.
Right.
Yes. It's been crazy, but for me, everything is always up here. Everything. So my main thing was to get my creativity back, just keep my gears rolling, recording, set up everything. I have my guitar, I have my software. That's all I need. Just sit down, zone out, and get creative. And then, I just felt like I wanted to do a little more because everybody's dealing with different things and different industries and everything. So I'm like, let me just do something. Let me come up with a YouTube show. Since I had a YouTube out from releasing my single, I'm like, let me get some content. Let me at least put stuff on there. And it's here we are, episode 5.
It's amazing what happens when you actually get committed to something. You can actually put it into fruition. I mean, look at this girl. Look, just notes and notes. And
I know that's right.
And more notes of me trying to get my brand off the ground. You know what I mean? It's insane, but I think you have to have that kind of locked in laser focus in order to get it accomplished. I try to teach my students that all the time when I was teaching at MI. Client is the most important aspect of your job. Mm-hmm. Not trying to figure out a new plugin, not trying to experiment, but satisfying the client and make sure that they have your full attention. I think the ones that pick up on that are the ones that really flourish after they leave, because it's something it's a mindset that you can carry with for the rest of your life.
So real quick, you guys really don't know, this was my teacher at MI, Musicians Institute in Hollywood.
Right.
And he taught Reason, Reason software, which I love Reasons, but I still be on Logic.
Oh, I had to step my game up. I'm on Logic now, so I might need you to teach me a few tricks on that software. But
oh yeah, I got you. I told you. To me, Logic is GarageBand on crack. So
it is.
And I love it to create, because when I'm creating, I just want something easy. Let me get my sounds in there, and then I can complicate it later. You know, if I have to move it to Pro Tools, I will, or whatever have you. But Logic is just simple, straight to the point. That's why I like Logic.
I'm surprised you don't have your wine sitting next to you. What's up with that?
Listen now, that was coming next. Okay, because we got a white sangria here. Okay,
Nice.
I don't go without it. I've only done one episode different, and that was episode 3. I had a cup of tea because we shot that one pretty late, and I'm like, let me just go on and I'm gonna wind down while I'm filming. But
well, to stay good with all the YouTube folks, I won't let you know what I got over here, but let's just say,
you know, we've already had that through 3 episodes already.
Yeah, I know. Let's just say it's a herbal refreshment. There you go.
Medicine. Ladies and gentlemen, it's medicine and it's good for you. Okay, use responsibly.
Considering all the medicines that Big Pharma has been putting out, now with this pandemic going on, they're trying to fast track this vaccine, and of course it's got all of its side effects. And
I'm already hearing about the side effects.
You know, for me, this is a healthy alternative.
All natural.
It can be manageable, and I think a lot of people still go back to that old thinking of, oh, it's a gateway drug to harder and, you know, more deadly.
But you know what? That's society. Society, when you have a mindset over generations, it becomes brainwashed. I'm gonna just call it what it is. It becomes brainwashed because at a point in time, we all just thought it was some sort of gateway, hardcore drug. It's still Schedule 1, you know, and it's like now, fast forward years later, the truth comes out, you know, but it's still, it's going to take a while. It's going to take a while. And that's what I aim to do because I am an advocate. Okay. And I'm always teaching. Like I've seen what it can do. I've worked in a dispensary in West Hollywood where I've had cancer patients come in and they said, I've been on all kinds of medication and I'm done. I'm tired of feeling sick. I'm tired of feeling the way that I do. What can you help me with? Bud tenders. You know, we're like pharmacists. When you're go to the right dispensary because they were honest about having knowledge, knowing how the product works, what's what and everything. Right. So having that knowledge and doing all that, you're able to bring someone out. And I've never just said, oh, kill the medicine. No, I've had people, I'm going to start you with a microdose of this, that, and a third, depending on how you want to feel. If you're afraid you've never used it before, no problem. We'll work with that. And down the line, I've had people come to me like, you know what? I'm down to 1 pill and I feel amazing and thank you for helping me. Cancer patients, you know, and that is everything to me. And that's what I plan to do with frequency medicinals when that time comes. You know, right now I'm in the building stages, but when it launches, I plan to change the world holistically.
That's awesome. And I think the more people are aware, the more logical choices they can make. I think the propaganda that's been put out limits people's choices. But at the same time, you have all these medicines from Big Pharma that's got 20 side effects.
And can kill you if you take too many.
Yeah, you almost forgot what you're taking the damn medicine for in the first place, you know? So
right. Like, what pill is this, you know?
Right.
Did I take this one already? Don't take it twice. Your blood pressure going to get too low. It's going to get too high. You're going to end up in the hospital because your heart done gave out because you took it at the wrong time.
I think
cannabis is God-grown, natural.
Right.
Watch who grows it, though, because if they put the pesticides and the chemicals in there, it ain't no good. But as long as it's tested and approved, you're safe. You won't die.
Yeah. I think you should be fine. I don't think you would hear an overdose on that type of drug anytime soon.
And by the way, years we have not thus far.
Always got to reinvest in yourself. That's why I had to figure out during this pandemic, I invested so much time in teaching and working on other people's projects, so on and so forth. And I get great satisfaction from that, no doubt about it. But it's a whole different ballgame when you're actually promoting yourself. It takes a whole different mindset, just like really push the envelope in. People looking at me like, is this guy nuts? Is he crazy? Is he weird?
Right.
Like, yeah, you just don't know how my brain thinks. And I got a lot on my brain and I got to get it out. I'm not
got to get it out or you'll explode literally.
Right.
Because I'm the same way with the music. Like if it's piling up, I feel overwhelmed. I'll get anxiety from it. Seriously, if I don't get it out. you know, and that's not even to mean publishing it, just to get it, the idea down. You know, I'll go crazy because I'm from head to toe, I'm built in music. It's just who I am, and I can't even help it.
And it's okay if people think that's weird. That's just commitment. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's commitment into what you're doing, your idea, and the fact that you're capable of doing it. And if people look at you differently, then that's on them.
Yeah.
I got to take that same approach. I've been doing this for, wow, I can't believe, over 20 years. It feel like yesterday that I got in the music industry. Every day that I'm in it, I'm learning something new. And to me, that keeps me going. The minute I start thinking that I know everything, I think it's time to stop. So I haven't gotten to that point yet. Thank goodness. It keeps me going.
Yeah. Well, it keeps changing. I don't think you're going to come to that anytime soon.
Literally just this year, I was actually talking to my former boss, big time music producer, over 20 million records sold worldwide. And I was explaining that very same situation, like what has the pandemic done to the music industry as a whole? And he was like, basically the live performances have really suffered because, I mean, everything's locked down. There's no arenas to go to. You can't sell out any venues. Biggest benefactor of the pandemic is actually those who have a catalog of music, because of all the streaming that's going on. So his royalty checks literally have tripled from last year to this year, just because of the pandemic. So.
And then, you know, people are keeping themselves mentally stable with music. It's crazy that although the creative industry suffered the way we have during this time, people forget how important we really are. Music is universal. You're playing music. Music is a part of your life some kind of way. If you're a strict religious person, you gonna go to church, to mass, to whatever, and what's the first thing you're gonna do? You're gonna sing.
Right.
For us to be like the forgotten industry or the lesser respected in times like this, it's like you forget how much you actually need us. You know. Okay. Respect it.
Yes. Like keep the mental aspect, because you know this all too well. I mean, it could get to be a physical grind. I think it was Nietzsche that said, without music, life would be a mistake. I really do feel that, like, every aspect of our lives, music has something to do with it. And I'm actually in the creation part of it. I'm not the outside looking in. I'm kind of into it. And it's a whole different feeling knowing that you can take something intangible and make it tangible.
Yes.
For somebody else to enjoy. So that's the pleasure I get out of it, regardless of how much money I can make off of it. The end game for me is the listener happy? Is the listener sad? What kind of emotion are they getting from my music? And is it the emotion that I want them to get? And if I could do that consistently, then, you know, the money will come. I know that.
It's bigger than that, you know, hence the frequency chemist. That's it. It stems from my curiosity, the science of sound, why we feel the way we feel, to me wanting to put that out there to people. Like, I want you to feel this. I want you to be able to come to my music when you need it most. One of my favorite artists, and I always put it out, God hears me. One of my favorite artists is Kendrick Lamar.
Okay? All right.
And I am dying to work with him. I'm like, I just want to sit down and have a conversation with dude, and then the vibe will just take off on its own. It was a time where everyone was protesting. In one of the protests, everyone was singing, "We gonna be all right. We gonna be all right." You know what I mean? And I'm like, that's the impact. Like, if that was me and my music, that would have been the moment right there. And don't get me wrong, I have people that come to me and has messaged me like, yo, your music, it helps. And that is everything. It's more than just trying to sell records. When I'm able to impact people like that, whether you just jamming off a good time, or if you're just down and you needed to help you through a depression, that's all that matters. That's the thing for me right there.
I want to say it's like a philanthropist giving money to a charity, but at the same time, again, it's tangible. We're doing something intangible, like the notes that we figure out in our head, or the way that a mix needs to blend, or the way that I need to, strike a drum or strum a guitar. Those things are programmed up here first. And, you get a different sense of satisfaction knowing that is what impacted a person more so than your stature, your looks, your vibe, or vibe is a little bit of a part of it, but to actually take, again, something intangible and turn it into actual notes that people understand. It goes way back to, Beethoven in those days, and we're still doing it today, and it's still having an impact. You could call it a trend or a fad, but music is something that is not trendy. It's life-changing experiences.
Search the internet and you'll find videos of animals dancing to music. You hear about people playing music for their plants, and it changes the way the plants grow. It's a powerful, very powerful thing. It's a universal language, period. Everyone speaks it. Everyone, I have a teenager who loves music. I have an infant figuring out how to move to music. And she sings, she does her little humming. She, mimics me. Whether you're just fresh out the womb or well into your age now, music's a part of that, no matter what. It's everything. And that's why I can't stop. It's in my purpose, because I've tried to quit music more than once. It's been a part of me since I was little. I think everybody who takes music seriously has gone through a time to where it's like, yo, I can't do this no more, but it won't go away. Not when it's in you to do it.
Along those same lines, I heard an entrepreneur saying there's a difference between falling and failing. Falling, you actually get back up. Whereas failing, you just quit. Those who are serious in the industry have always had that. Is this really my calling? Is this really why I'm here? I don't know what it is, but it's that itch that just constantly needs to scratch. We can't get the sensation out of us, and we just have to go back into it. And people think we're insane for that. To a certain degree, I guess.
And we are. Sure am.
You know what? There's a lot of people think I'm crazy as shit. I don't care. I don't care. Like I said, I've been doing this for a long time. It's really the only thing I think I'm pretty good at. Now that I figured out sort of how to generate a little bit of an income and working on making it an actual business where it can really, really change lives, particularly my family and my friends, I feel like I would be a disappointment to them if I were to quit, because they believe in me so. I'm pretty sure you got family and friends who, push the envelope to make you who you are, and you will probably feel the same way. So that's in every musician. Like, you want to succeed for more than just yourself. And that's why I keep pushing so hard.
And with that being said, welcome to episode 5 of Power Cut. And I want you to just run it down. How did we break in, or what was our break-in moment? I want to say breakthrough, but, sometimes breakthroughs are different levels. I want to say just breaking in is probably a better term to use, because sometimes it's big, sometimes it's small. Go ahead and run it down. Like, what is it you got going on? How has COVID been treating you? Where are you now? Where do you see yourself for 2021? Because we about to hop out of 2020. We about to throw this out. What? We're not gonna throw it out. We're gonna take it. We're gonna learn from it. But we about to go into 2021 crazy. So what you got going on?
Basically, I don't want to say retired, but I think my teaching aspect of my career came to pass about a year ago. 2019 was my last year teaching in mine. I was teaching there for 13 years. Started as a student in 2006. Got hired in 2007. Of course, was doing work on the outside. That was really like my niche, to pass on info that I'm getting from some of these great people that I'm working with. And at the same time, I still get the opportunity to work with those people and connect with those people. And it was a fun time. In 2018, just kind of took a nosedive because I lost my dad. He was my biggest cheerleader when he was trying to get in the industry, so to speak. It didn't really pan out the way he wanted to. But once he saw at a young age with me that I was dedicated, really, really getting into music, kind of put a little fire under him. And he wanted to push me.
Yeah.
And I can remember vividly 2000, I think this was 2002, Mobile, Alabama for WADB.
Okay.
Shout out to them. I was working there for 3 years. It was a pretty cool job, you know, but they no longer required my services, and I was let go. I actually had went to work expecting to work that day. Ken called me in the office. Ken was the accountant at the time, and he was like, Bernie Dittman, who was the owner, needs to talk to you. And I was like, I kind of knew then.
Yeah, you felt it.
I'll put it to you this way. It wasn't a promotion. I knew that. It wasn't a raise. Of course, they gave me the pink slip. They gave me my severance check, and I'm sitting here cleaning out my desk. And literally, I called my dad, because he had, within 10 to 15 minutes of this happening, dropped me off at work. So I'm calling him, you know, I'm frustrated. I'm trying to hold back tears like, Pop, you got to turn around, man, and come pick me up because they fired me. He was like, what? You know, oh, man, I'm sorry to hear that. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. He was like, look, son, you a bad mother. Don't you worry about trying to find a job. You focus on your music and everything else will fall into place. I got you. And from then on, I think I had the confidence to not be afraid to fall, to always try to get back up, because you're going to go through these stumbles. I don't care what profession that you're in, got to continue to push through. I think if I wouldn't have gotten that pep talk from my dad, all the stuff that would have happened from then till now, I don't think would have occurred. So it was sad that I lost him at 18. And I think that kind of put me into a pivot to where we are now. And then of course, COVID hit, which, you know, really shut everything down. MI actually had to shut their facilities down.
Yeah, because that's a school. It's like, you can't even really just be like, oh, we'll learn from online.
You're talking about one-on-one counseling, that's out the window. Going into the studio to record, that's out the window. Going in the studio to teach anything, that's out the window. You're not really thinking about social distancing or, you know, the guidelines put out by the CDC. I mean, you got to implement that now. And at the same time, you got to make a pivot. You got to go virtual.
Right.
So all of this was happening. I was kind of unsure myself. I'm going to be honest with you. You know, there were times where I wonder if this was my calling. And I say within later on this year, as the pandemic was really setting in and kind of knew that things weren't going back to what we call normal. You know, I had to think about, can I diversify my business even further?
Yeah.
And that's where I got the idea to just put your stuff online. Just go virtual, go mobile. Don't worry about traditional brick and mortar. Try to sell yourself, which you got a lot of skill, you got a lot of connections and stuff. Maybe within the last week, I'm starting to cook up a whole lot of stuff.
Hey, now.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I would like to say they woke up a sleeping giant, because I got a lot of stuff cooking up. Can't wait to divulge all the details. Online tutorial series, one-on-one virtual counseling, working with other composers, collaborating with other composers, of course, my mixing services and whatnot, but actually getting back into the teaching realm. But now I'm doing it from my platform. I got a lot of creativity that I can bring to the table that couldn't bring at MI. Now I have the freedom to do it.
Your rules, your style.
The content is going to be indicative of that. So I can't wait. I can't wait.
I'm excited when it's all ready to launch and everything, because I know it's gonna be dope.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That, I mean, like I said, that's why I got all these crazy notes. For the last.
Trust me, the stuff, I got stuff everywhere, and I like writing, so it just be papers everywhere. I try not to do that so much now because I really confuse myself when I'm ready to put it down. But I've had times where I've had a piece of a song in one book, a piece of a song on a piece of paper somewhere else, and a piece of song, because it'll just come to me randomly whenever it comes. And so it's just like ideas, or sometimes I'll just think of a line. I have no idea where it's going to go or what it'll be for, but I'm just going to write it down and put it somewhere. Just notes and ideas. But that's the stage. That's it. It starts there. We put it together and we put it out there.
Yeah, it starts as a trickle, and all of a sudden you have a tsunami. And I think that's kind of where I'm at now. It started out as okay, let's post some tips on Facebook on a forum and see how they react. And when that response was overwhelming, I'm like, well, let me go ahead and actually write a PDF. Let me try that. You know, a little booklet on, you know, some of my tips with mixing. And I'm basically doing this for novice composers, but it seems like everybody at all levels are really gravitating.
Yeah, because you can always switch it up and learn something new.
It went from that to now literally by myself with my laptop, going through every detail of how to work every piece of software to create good, hearty content that is entertaining, but most importantly, that's informative for those who really want to take this info and actually get better. I know a lot of people that are in the industry, you included, that have a lot of insight that can really, you know, help people avoid these mistakes and pitfalls that we went through. Why be selfish and hold all this information? Go ahead and pass it out. Don't worry about how they respond to it. Just pass it out and let them make that decision for themselves. So I'm really bought into it, and the results are going to speak for themselves. And I can't wait for it. I'm just itching to get my first.
Yeah, I know the feeling. And that's what this is. You ever just have a conversation with friends or family or whomever, and it just enlightens you, whether you're an outsider listening in on a conversation or whether you're in the conversation for yourself. And that's what this is meant to be, you know, and that's what kind of just gave me the idea of the whole YouTube show in general, because I'm like, you know, it's easy. We hop on Zoom, you can record the Zoom and just put it out there to the world, because it's going to relate to a lot of people out there who are tuning in or listening, or someone out there is going to be able to say, hey, I went through that same exact situation. Okay, that's good advice. Let me try that. You know, so same scenario, and that's what this show is meant to be.
Yeah. Your first episode, I was like, I see where she's going with this, and I like the vibe. They're keeping it organic, not scripted. I think that's what the audience gravitate towards too, is they understand the difference between scripted and organic. How are you going to play that role, and what audience you're going to cater to? And
right.
You hit the nail on the head.
Thank you. It feels good to hear that. All I can do is create and hope. You know, I create what I feel. If it feels good, then it's like, cool. You know, I'm also in this phase of getting out of chasing perfection, which is something I talk about in episode 1. Yeah. Chasing perfection is one of the reasons why I don't have a ton of music out the way I should. I mean, forever music, but it's not out because I'm so busy chasing perfection and ideas that I keep inside that never gets put out because I'm chasing perfection. But, you know, it's just at this point, I've gotten enough advice from names both small and big who have told me, like, you got to get out of that. Just go for it. Everything's a learning mechanism. Everything is growth. You don't really know what people want, because I'll put something out and I'm like, oh, this is kind of corny, but I put it, and then I'll put something else out and that'll be what people love, which is crazy.
You didn't see that. Y'all in television, y'all need to learn that sometime. It's called copy.
Right, exactly. I learned that a lot. When you learn it though, it's hard to enjoy certain things because you be catching everything.
You know what? And it's funny that you mentioned that, because especially when I got into film composing, that was one of the things that I did not want to happen to me. Like, I still wanted to still enjoy the music I was listening to while watching the film. But now that I know some of the details that go into it, it's like, I tell people all the time, try watching a film with no music. There's not many films out there. We're talking, you know, of course, modern day film. We're not talking 20s and 30s here, but try listening to a film with no music. Even back in the 20s and 30s, it was silent film. There was no dialogue. So it was all music. To now kind of be in that realm where I'm actually creating music for visual, it's a different ball game. And I had to figure that out quick, because again, the dynamics are changing to where everybody is doing everything themselves. So it was a good opportunity. I love doing it. And that's kind of been my niche for the last, I want to say about 4 or 5 years now.
That's definitely something that I've always wanted to get into as well. And there are a lot of songs in my playlist that I discovered from watching a show or watching a movie or something, because it can be a hit or miss. Like, you can either make it such a dope scene just off of the music hitting right, or you can really screw that scene over from the music not hitting the way that it should. And I love doing that. I'm always doing, like, even with the power cut, I did that. You know, all the music that you hear, the intro, the way I kind of just threw that video, I'm like, you know, if it changes over time or enhances, but yeah, the music you hear, the whole intro, all of that, I did that. So, and I love doing it. I love adding music to visual because I just feel like when it's put together properly, it's everything. It just creates a full experience and a full atmosphere when you're watching something like that. I think that's dope.
Yeah, we're storytellers, you know, and again, music invokes that emotion. So when you're looking at a particular scene that's romantic, you need to be a little bit more somber to a certain extent. You don't need to be as rah, 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 like for an action type of scene or an adventure type of scene. I read a lot of books on how to spot music, how to take directors' visions and, you know, kind of develop your motif and then develop your melody and how to play off that melody. John Williams is one of the greatest composers of all time. I study him tremendously. That's always going to be, like you say, seeking perfection. To me and to a lot of others in our genre, that's perfection. If we could get close to it, we know our music is going to sound really good. So I just try to get really, really close.
Or I mean, naturally, you can't help that. We're going to try to get as close as possible, but it's just like when you're in a grounding stage, you're really still trying, because that's what I am. You know, although I've been doing music all my life, I'm still in a position to where I'm trying to build myself so that I can just have this full time and just be in it, submerged and happy within my career. When you're going through that phase, it's hard to come out of that because you're so busy trying to please yourself and the world so that you can make it a part of your life, so that you can eat off of it, you know. So it's not an easy task mentally, because, you know, and anything that's in the mind, when it has something to do with the mind, habits, stuff like that, you got to kind of throw it out when it's no good. And it's not easy, you know, but naturally, I think as creators, we're always going to be hard on ourselves. That's just a part of who we are.
Funny, because I was watching a video of Grant Cardone. I don't know if you've heard of him, but he's an entrepreneur. He's beyond wealth. This guy is tremendously wealthy, and, you know, he goes through his background, and one of the things he actually talked about would try to run a successful business, whether it's sales, whether it's, you know, running your own company, becoming an entrepreneur, whatever discipline you're in, always have more positive than negative. And in order for you to actually take positive information, you got to get the negative stuff out. You got to get the bad habits out. You got to get rid of the circle of people who are not giving you inspiration and is always coming at you with negativity. You got to get rid of a lot of that in order for you to start actually building something good. It's like cutting grass. You got to get rid of the weeds first. You know, you got to take the weeds out before you can fertilize the lawn and actually grow good grass. Otherwise, the weeds are going to come back. The commonality between every creator and every entrepreneur or somebody trying to run their own business that's starting out and trying to find their way is liabilities versus assets. You got to have more assets than liabilities. Once you start accumulating more assets, then the liabilities are not as bad, and you can manage that a little bit more. I think that's kind of where I'm at now. The assets, as far as, you know, my ability to teach, my ability to mix, my ability to compose, get back into graphic design. I haven't done that for years. I'm already a visual artist. So why not put that in the repertoire? I think those assets will outweigh my liabilities, me being an introvert, me being a Black male, me being 45 years old, still trying to make it in the music business, you know, what I would call liabilities. My assets are now going to trump those. And once you get at that stage, you feel more comfortable in, you know, oh, I could actually sustain a living making music.
Interesting, because throughout my whole journey, I have met with people who, one, will say, hey, just get out there, try it, do what you can do. Like I graduated school in 2008, the diploma in graphic design and animation. That gave me the eye for visual. I went to high school, a communications high school. We majored basically in like TV production. So there's that. And I'm pretty good with a camera. I'm pretty good with that kind of visual photography. If there's anything I can say is a hobby, it's photography. I love to do it. I love capturing a moment or something that looks beautiful. And then fast forward to now, where we're in a position in the industry to where you have to build everything on your own. It's not easy, coming from a time where people are like, you need to focus on one thing and shoot for it. And then in the other area, you got people that are like, no, just get out there and do it. And it's hard because you'll get out there, you'll try different things. In a way, you're not grounding yourself in a certain situation to where you can pursue it and get better. It's a balance. I want to work on this, I want to work on it. So I think when you get in times like this where you have to build your own business, you're building your own brand, everything is independent now, everything is self-done, having all of those creative traits become a good thing to be able to put all that together. Again, with the YouTube, I create the music, I created the intro, and it becomes something that works out in the end. But who knew years ago that that was something that would be a good thing? It's definitely a give or take. One thing I never like to tell people is what they can't do. You know, I can give advice and say, hey, you know, these kind of things don't usually work, but you know, what didn't work for you may work for the other person. So it's kind of hard to tell somebody what not to do or whatever. All you can do is suggest. That message is for the people who have been out there, who find themselves always giving advice to people, because what got you to where you are may be different from what got people to where they're going to go or whatever, because it can be confusing. It can make it hard for someone like myself to find mentors and get advice from all kinds of people and admire them. I never really had one and call, you know, whenever throughout the years. There's always someone new. You know, I'm not from Cali. I moved to Cali. I love California. You know, I'm from Philly. You know, I had my life there. I had my career base there that inspired me and pushed me to move. And so I had to create a whole new network out there. So it's not an easy thing. You got to be like water. Just be like that liquid and just flow with everything. Because the times are going to change. The industry is going to change. People are going to change. Quality is going to change. Everything.
You know, that's actually a Bruce Lee quote.
Yeah, Bruce Lee. That's where I got that from. That's what he said.
If water's in the cup, be the cup. If water's in the pitcher, be the pitcher. Willing to adapt. And I think that this pandemic, more than anything, is showing people's ability or inability to adapt and change and restructure and pivot, whatever you want to call it. But we know now we can't do things the same way that we did just a year ago. And that includes maybe even 5-10 years ago. Streaming was not a big thing. You know, people were still buying physical copies of records and whatnot. People were, of course, going to major studios to get their work done. And fast forward to now, everything is virtual. Everything is mobile. You got to be able to not only be present in California or on the East Coast or, you know, in Atlanta or in Philly or wherever, but you got to be able to accept work from Dubai and Tokyo and London and still be able to put out a good product. And that's also what got me into wanting to do my masterclass, is give that skill to those who are right on the cusp, especially now that, you know, like I said, what's going on with the pandemic, they have an opportunity that they probably would have never had before to become independent and to market themselves and to actually use their skills on a virtual global scale. That's what I'm trying to pick up. I'm glad I'm picking it up. I guess as a teacher, I love passing that information on. Now for me, it's about capitalizing on it and, you know, monetizing it to make it a bigger brand that I can think of. I got to get all my ducks in a row. That's what I've been doing, you know, essentially this last half of the year. You know, 2021, I'm expecting to put out a lot of content and a lot of informative things for people who really need it.
I tell you one thing, it's almost like a trigger for creatives. We thrive off of this. We thrive off of being able to get in a corner, get in a place where it's like, you know, within ourselves and be able to create something and build something so that we can put it out to the world. I was speaking to a friend of mine, and he was saying that, you know, he's always on tour. He's always doing these massive shows, always traveling across the world. And he saw the pandemic as a blessing for him to sit down and work on more material and focus on that instead of having to go out and promote the stuff that he has out. It's hard to create, you know, you kind of just got to get in your own moments whenever you can. And I think, you know, everyone kind of just takes things just to a different perspective. Like for me, especially when I really got into producing, I've always put it out there like, hey, look, I'm always open to collaborate. And, you know, I've been saying that for years. Like, I'm always open to collaborate. Hit me up. Let's do it. I don't care where you are. You don't really hear from nobody.
Right.
Because people usually are like, let's get in the studio, or it just won't happen. It kind of limits that. So now we're in a place where you have to do this. More people seem open to collaborate. And that's one of the reasons why, like, on my recent Instagram posts, I found it necessary to just play that clip of my song that features ZD1, who who's an artist who is from Ghana. He's from Ghana and lives in Ghana. And we managed to do a collaboration on a song that's going to be on my EP. And I'm like, the fact that we were able to do that, I'm not taking no excuses anymore. This man is in Africa.
Right.
And the funny thing is we've never actually met in person. We just caught a vibe via LinkedIn, actually. We met on LinkedIn and he was like, I'm an artist. I'm doing this, that, and the third. And I'm like, yeah, I'm working on music. And then it becomes a regular conversation. And it's like, hey, you know, we kind of think the same when we're creating. And I'm like, you know what? I have a song that I would love to hear your voice on. And it kind of has this Afro vibe. I'm not going to call it Afro pop or anything, but it has a vibe to it because I'm using like African sounds and stuff. No pressure. I just want you to vibe because I'm about my music feeling good. That's what's going to make it right. And he agrees to that type of thing. Like he makes his music to feel good. So that's how that happens. So I'm like, I'm not taking the excuses anymore. If you in the USA, you can collaborate with me. It can be done. You know, I collaborate with somebody miles away.
Right.
So I don't want to hear it.
This guy's record I'm working on, he's actually a former student. I've already co-composed and mixed on, 13 of his scores. And he lives in Mexico.
Wow.
So you're right. There is no excuses anymore. And I think that the pandemic has really put a lot of emphasis on that. Let's be real. Let's cut the bullshit. Let's put the pedal to the metal. Let's really start to do something. You're always going to find the ones who are committed and those who are not. The ones who are committed are the ones that are pretty much you're going to see throughout your career.
Yeah.
So it's actually no surprise that we're actually doing this together. You know what I mean? It was going to happen sooner or later.
Right.
And that's why I tell a lot of people who I meet, and that's why I was trying to teach to my students while I was at MMI, be careful because it's really a small circle in the industry. And you don't want to, you don't want to step on nobody's toes. You don't want to offend anybody. You don't want to get on anybody's bad side.
Yeah.
Monique is still literally talking about how she's been blackballed by Hollywood, even after she won an Oscar. If it can happen to her, it damn sure can happen to you. So I always try to put that energy out there like, hey.
One thing I definitely do is observe. I could say I have been in sessions within the same day. This particular group was talking about this group of people. And I've gone to that other session and this group of people was talking about this group of people. And I'm like, and I'm just in there quiet. Like, you never know I was just in a session with the same people. But been in positions to where I've learned stuff without saying a word and just soaking it in, where I've been in places where people are like, yeah, this person has done this, that, and the third, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, probably shouldn't be mindful being around them because if that's what's going on here, I don't want to be associated with that. I tell people, I'm like, it is small industry. The industry is huge, but it's very small. Everybody knows everybody through somebody. So be mindful what you say. Have some decorum. And keep an open mind and keep open ears, and that don't mean because Lord, the world today, we are in a world of, and granted, it is my guilty pleasure. I do watch reality television, but
who doesn't?
Right. But we are living in a world to where that people thrive their careers off of that. And so they create drama. Sometimes a lot of times it's not necessary for the sake of, first thing they do is go to social media, start tweeting, start posting on Instagram, screenshotting, blah, blah. I'm like, so are you actually good at your music or is this just how you manage to make your money?
Yeah.
By all means, make your money, boo-boo, but we need a new name for this because music ain't who you are if this is what you got to do to keep yourself put on. So, I admire Kendrick Lamar. You don't see nothing from him except for what's necessary. Whether he considers he's at the top of his game or not, he's out there. He's up there. And without drama, without all the extra craziness.
Well, another name that should ring true to you too, Anderson .Paak. He's kind of the same way.
Yeah.
And when I met him last year doing his video shoot, YB and Corday, and I asked him, I'm like, look, man, we go way back, since your days at MI, which a lot of people.
Anderson .Paak with the MI.
Yeah, like
Man, come on, stop playing. Let's make these records.
Like, come on, man. I actually, long story short, I actually mixed his first mixtape when he was known as Breeze Lovejoy. That's how far we go back.
Oh, I know that. I done been through names. Listen, anybody would have watched episode 1, you'd have heard me say K-Star and stuff. So it's listen, I done went through the names, okay?
Yeah. So I kind of asked him, like, how is it that you still stay under the radar, so to speak? Because I know he's I don't want to say, yeah, he's an extrovert. I call him an extrovert. He's extroverted. And how do you keep that in your private life? Because we, kind of know what you went through to get to this point. How do you keep that separate? And, he was just like, just stay humble, man, and be true to yourself. And the audience is not stupid. They know what authenticity is.
Oh, yeah.
Just be authentic. The way he's done it and countless others have done it, just stay authentic. And we could tell what fake is,
Oh, yeah, you can tell.
And a lot of these reality shows, you can tell that they're scripted to incite drama, to get ratings up and to get viewership up and all of that stuff.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's TV.
Yeah, it's entertainment. Folks want to be entertained, and that's a form of entertainment. So, but they're making a killing. Like, come on, they're making some serious money, and
yeah.
Until that mode is changed, they're just going to stand pat and do what's best to make the money. So
yeah, it's one of those things where you have artists, and it again, if that's what you choose to do and you're comfortable living your life like that, make your money, boo. But someone like me, I take pride in my privacy, because I am an introvert. I'm an extrovert when needed be. That's just something I had to learn. You got to know when to turn it off, turn it on, and get out there and meet, because other than that, how are you going to build your network? But when you take pride in your privacy, you become that artist, and you just focus on marketing the right songs that grab the people that they can relate to, and let it just be that. Acting is my second love, so if I want to be dramatic, I'll do that.
Right.
And I'll just leave it there, but that real life drama, that messes with you mentally. People may think they have the mental capacity for stuff like that, and you really don't, because when you have the whole world judging you, which they're going to do regardless as a creative, but when you have the whole world judging you on your actions, when you are a part of some sort of public drama and you got different sides of the story, the fans are going to choose whose side they want to pick. The internet is ruthless. You got to remember, in the internet is now you're allowing every personality to have some sort of a platform to say something to you, as to where before they just had to watch TV, listen to radio, read a newspaper, and keep their opinions amongst their friends or to themselves. Unless you write a fan letter and send it in, and then that's even if I get to your letter. But now there's a platform for everyone to throw their opinions out there, and that energy, it can really be damaging to your mental stability if you're not able to truly handle it, in which most people aren't. You want to go through that period where you have to get a grip, but at the same time, it's like it's the internet. So when people go through certain phases where they're really breaking down, I have to honestly say I don't understand, because turn your phone off. You don't have to see it.
Right.
Let me say that again for the people in the back. Turn the device off. You don't have to see it.
There's a famous story that I think it was Derek Jeter when he was in his dating days. And one of the things he always made the woman do before coming to his house is literally take the phone and put it in a basket. You're not coming in my house with that device.
No photos here. No. I know some artists that still do that.
Everybody wants to be a paparazzi. Everybody wants to do the TMZ World Star.
Everybody wants to get their money, get their little fame some kind of way. They will. You have people out there who are desperate to get it any way they can. That's why I keep my circle this small, so that when that time comes and I am big enough Ain't nobody breaking into that circle because we airtight. My private business and in my life, if you know about it, you're someone that I can trust. And I don't use that word easily.
Exactly. For those who are watching and trying to figure out how to navigate through the business, one key word, trust. They got to be able to trust you. You got to be able to trust yourself. Trust yourself in knowing that you have the skill and you have the ability to do what is necessary or what they ask of you. But more importantly, the person who you're providing service to or you're selling the product to or whatever, they got to be able to trust you. Because if you don't have that, the negotiation, the relationship, whatever, it's not going to work. You got to build that trust. So if you have to work for free, work for free. Don't say no until you're in a position to say no.
To say no, right.
You know, I had to learn that the hard way, being stuck on my own self-pride, thinking, you know, I'm good enough. Trust me, there's people out there better than you. And the reason that they're doing it and you're not is because these guys don't trust you yet, because you're not willing to do any and all to get the job done. And once I figured that out, then things started coming a little bit easier. I think that's the hardest thing for a person coming into the business to really like grasp is building that trust and getting that circle. You don't have to have a whole lot of people like you.
Yeah.
You just have to have a small enough people to trust you.
Yeah.
Get the right people to trust you. It can take you where you need to go.
And that's popular belief. You know, gotta come with the entourage. We squad deep. You know, that was a popular thing at a point in time, to come in somewhere squad deep. It'd be me and my best friend, okay? Or just be me. I tell people, if you look at my Instagram, you think I'm not an introvert, you'll see how many people I'm around. None. Or it'd be the same one person. You might rarely see me in a group photo or around a few other people. It's always just me.
Do you want to be part of the crowd or you want to stand out from it? I mean, literally the course of your career is based off of you want to be part of the crowd or you want to stand out.
Stand out, exactly. And you'd be surprised because I have a lot of people who have noticed me just off of the fact that I am somewhere by myself. Like, for instance, NAM, I'll be walking through NAM and I'll be by myself. And people are like, you ain't come with me? Who you here with? What do you mean who I'm here with? Me. I'm here to network and do the, this ain't, it's good to see everybody. Good to see y'all. How y'all doing? But I be up in there by myself. I've literally had people approach me and I've met a lot of people just off of the strength that I'm by myself. And that says a lot. It speaks volumes.
It does. It just shows other people that, hey, I don't have to blend in and call myself popular in order for me to be successful. That's not what my success is based off of, is how many people like me or whatever.
And I was out of that phase at a young age because I was never the popular girl. So that was out from the beginning.
I'm the L7. Okay, that's it. That's what they used to call me in the military. L7. That's a square. All right. So, coming from the hood, that didn't matter.
Exactly.
They see glasses. My mannerisms is the way I talk. Nah, and it's cool. I'm a different flavor than somebody else. I don't want to be the brand that everybody chooses. I want to be a unique brand. So
like this is the quality stuff here. Everybody can't use this.
Right. Everybody can't afford it either. So let that be my niche, and let the chips fall where they may. And I think I'm pretty good so far.
So just so y'all know, it's starting here.
No, but I actually learned a lot from your previous guests, and that's why I went on it and watched every episode before I got to this one. And
I appreciate just you watching.
hey, it's up to me to help spread the word about this platform. I think it's entertaining and informational, which is the two things that people always seem to look for on YouTube anyway.
Yeah.
And you provide both.
That makes me feel good that I'm hitting the marks. I have gotten a lot of love thus far on the show. Viewers that I have, it's just been all positive feedback. The biggest thing people say is the vibe is there. That's everything, because anyone that knows me, it's all about the vibe, is all about the frequency. So that's everything. And I thank y'all for listening. Where do you see yourself from here on out? In your perfect world, we at the end of 2020, we done went through a lot and we have learned a lot about ourselves. I've seen on Instagram, someone put something up. It said, plot twist, 2020 was actually your best year because you have learned about yourself. You've learned things you didn't know. Being confined within yourself and within your home that you're not used to, there is a part of you that has flourished from it. So from us being in our best year thus far, in your perfect world from 2021 on out, go ahead and paint that picture for us.
I actually wrote down some goals, financial goals, 3-year, 5-year, 10-year mark. I'm not even concerned about that. You know, I really do think I'm going to hit those marks. And it all starts with what I've been doing in the last couple of months, which is kind of piggybacking basically what I've been doing all my entire career. And that is just catalog every detail of your life that has both been positive and negative, but more importantly, has taught you something and that you can pass it on to somebody else. Seeing myself, I will love Eddie Bauer music is like my baby. Much as I love, you know, of course, my daughter is my best friend. You know, she's 8 years old, so I'm looking at like, she's my greatest motivation. Music is like right there. I nurtured it. I watched it grow. It's giving me up. Sometimes it's giving me down, but in no way, shape, or form would I be doing anything else other than this. And to now I can touch this aspect of it and it still ties into music. I know where the nucleus is. Now let's start the branching out. And even at 45, at the time of this video, even at 45 years old, finally I figured out the formula. Now it's time to start calculating and make things happen. So I'm just so excited to see the future and what I can manifest, because you know, we talked about it. It all starts up here, and you know, I've seen some big things happening, and I really am confident that I can make it happen. It's just all about that discipline that I need, and the pandemic has helped. I'm not going to lie to you about that. It's helped with that. So
funny that you say the word discipline, because that has been my biggest thing. Granted, I have discipline in certain areas that's pretty strong. I have discipline in being open. Let me paint that to make it make sense. when you take a journey like I have, you realize that you have to be open. You have to be a sponge. You know, you have to be consistent in being that sponge so that you can learn anything that you can from anyone that you can. I don't care who it is. I'm going to learn from you. I'm an observer. Where we are now, it's gotten to a point, not just my own mental health, because I do suffer from anxiety and depression. And I get in these low moments in which my best friend cusses me out when I do. She's like, no, you got to come out of there. And I'm like, it's really not an easy thing. And that's why I like to be a teacher in that. Disciplining myself to keep moving in that and keeping my head above water by doing stuff like this. One, doing school. Right now I'm working towards my degree in philosophy.
Congratulations.
And thank you. And you know, doing the YouTube show, because that takes discipline. You know, I put out the teaser at a certain time of the week. I take these days to edit. I make sure I put it out live on YouTube at a certain time. So that takes discipline. I've been fasting for the past couple of weeks, in which I'm going to go into detail that in the next episode, but being more strict on myself in my health and wellness, because I just had a baby and I am trying to come out and be my best self. Felt my greatest in 2018 was like a booming year for me. So not just like creatively, but physically and mentally. Like I felt amazing. And so I want to get back to that, which is not easy when you've just had a baby. Whether it's working out or whatever have you, just that discipline, being focused in that. Because what I do project for myself, one, is to be able to make my bread and water from music. Ultimately, that's who I am. Music is the marriage. And like you said, my kids are my biggest motive. If it weren't for my children, I wouldn't be where I am today. That extra push, and then I just would not be me. Frequency Medicinals, which is my baby. That's my, you know, everybody got that baby that they building on, and it's probably going to take like a year or two before it really gets out there and becomes a thing. Like that's my branch of holistic healing. That's the company where I can really put in my philosophies of psychology, holistic healing, and changing the world and all that. And also, honestly, I would love to be therapist to the stars. The people who the world caters to and looks to, I want to be able to be their therapy, because I don't feel like everyone understands the power that we actually have as creators, especially in music. There is a level of power, and I want to be able to teach that. I want to be able able to sit down with them and just, you know, not just couching me with notes, but just be that person that they can really come to, talk to, and really dig into that space that they weren't able to do or aren't able to do on a regular basis because they're working. That's something else for me, you know, and I want to do that through the Frequency Chemist, me being a creative at the same time as a therapist. You know, music therapy is also something that I've always been looking at in a different way, more so of just waking people up to what it is, which it doesn't get as much respect. I'm the kind of person, I love a little bit of everything, you know, anything that has to do with creative art, you know, science, philosophy, psychology. I just want to dabble in anything. You know, I may not make everything a baby and try to make it big, but I just want to dabble in everything. But my main thing is just being able to create that foundation that I can sit comfortably and move around financially, mentally, physically. Start in 2021.
Yeah, it's all about selling yourself. Again, by me being an introvert, that's kind of like the one thing that you're always tugging against. It's like, you know, private as you want to stay, eventually you're going to have to get out there to the masses if you want to flourish in this society with what you're doing. With the whole pandemic and everything, again, this sense of normalcy has just been completely shattered. You know, what are you going to do? Are you going to sit and just kind of be stale and like, oh, okay, you know, my time has passed? Or you're actually going to try to pivot and try to go that extra mile to figure out, let's start with plan A.
Right.
A has got to work in order for the other ones to work. There is no B, C, and D. Once I figured that out and see how easy it was to make a plan B, C, D, so on and so forth, I have been like laser focused. You know, anybody who knows me well knows when I get in that laser focus mode, oh, it's a wrap. You know that if I'm dedicated to getting that mix done, it's going to get done. So I just got to make it apply to everything else in my life. It's just, you know, that discipline that we mentioned before. Staying in the moment and actually just enjoy it, you know.
Yeah.
As creators, you know, people don't know what really goes on in our heads, and that's fine.
You don't want to. You don't want to go in there.
You know,
just enjoy what comes from it.
And just be appreciative that there are people like us that can put that out there for entertainment and to actually have you learn something, as opposed to using it for all the negative stuff that, you know, some people are attached to with making money or being famous. You know, I don't want to be famous. I want to be infamous. You know, I want to be known, but I don't care about the whole fame thing. As long as a brand is, you know, with integrity and you know what you get when you deal with me or anybody else who works with me, who I deal with, that's really all I care about.
Yeah. I don't really love you, but I respect that person, because at the end of the day, I've worked hard to get to that position. You ain't got to agree with it. You ain't got to like it. You ain't got to love it. But respect it, respect my work, respect my journey, just as I do for yours.
And that's why I wanted to make sure that, you know, I had an opportunity to be on your show and didn't want to be the weakest link. I want to set I want to set that standard for you from here on out. And you know, I really appreciate you having me on and coming to talk to your fan base and all the people who are watching. Hey, stay tuned to this woman right here. She's awesome. She's very creative. She's very talented, and she's got big things in store. And I'm just so proud of you, and much love to you and your family. And during this time, I think that is the coolest thing you can do, is to put yourself out there. You're doing an awesome job, CJ.
I
appreciate you having me on.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for saying yes. Thank you for giving me some of your time. Oh my gosh. Listen, y'all, everything you need to know will be in the description box as usual. So you know where to find him. You know where to search. You know where to listen. Tune in. Stay tuned. Thank you again for saying yes. It means everything. Literally.
My pleasure. And keep up the good work. And we're going to have this conversation again. Mark my words. A couple of years from now, it's going to be a bigger stage. It's going to be, you know, more subscribers, more views. We're actually going to be able to get in the studio again.
Get in the studios, and
mark my words, we're going to go back on this initial run that you had. We're going to look back on that. We're going to have our laughs. We're going to be very appreciative of the growth that is going to happen. So I can't wait for that moment. But again,
me neither.
So proud of you, CJ. So proud of you.
Thank you so much. And thank you for tuning in. For everybody who's been here and everyone who is new, that has been episode, Number 5, y'all. Power cut.
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap.